What's up guys, so today we're back with the part 3 of our Polis build, and I thought what best to do than the main public entertainment space of the Ancient Greek Polis, which is the amphitheater. So in the last video we did the agora, which was the kind of key meeting point of public life, but we didn't have the key public entertainment space, and we've got many little rocky outcrops where we could build an amphitheater in this area. So I decided let's have a look around this area to see where would be the best place to put it. But as you saw in the last video, we built this nice agora area, which is the start of kind of the main commercial spaces of the city. You've got some of the political spaces like this over here. You've got some administrative buildings over here. So this is where your city records would have been kept, maybe your tax office. Even we had a little market temple. So this is a market temple to Athena in the corner over here. And you can see a nice view of the main Acropolis temple at the top of the hill over there. But as you can see, we've got many different places and many different rocky outcrops and cliffs and hills where we could in fact build an amphitheater. So we have one over there by the port area, which I'm going to show you quickly, and we've got one over here towards the back. Now I've settled on actually building this one towards the back, and I'll explain why in a moment. But as you can see, this area over here is quite limited, and the most open area is right overlooking the sea. Whereas I found that this space at the back has a nice kind of curved profile that would be nice to fit an amphitheater banking in. And what you're going to want to do when you build your amphitheaters in your Minecraft world is think how the ancient Greeks did. They didn't want to try and fill in loads of rock behind it. They wanted to use the natural hill. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start building an internal circle. Now this is going to be the area where you're going to have your actors doing their performance in the main part of the amphitheater. Now I'm going to link a website in the description which is really useful and really helpful when you're building circular structures in Minecraft. It is so damn difficult to build these things without calculating it based on the radius. So what I quite like to do is I like to, when I do an amphitheater, I go up in 3 or 4 levels with differing distances between. So as you can see, I've done 3 circles here, as I've calculated on the website that I've linked in the description. And then what I do is I go up every single block, so every full block, and I calculate how big that circle is. Now, the reason why I do that is because what you'll often find is that in Minecraft, when you build a circle upwards and you try and join between 2 points, you find that it gets quite square. You'll follow up slabs and full blocks going all the way up to the corners, and it will look very square and angular. Whereas in this method, you tend to kind of keep that curvature shape throughout the amphitheater, which is the kind of look that you want to get. Now, this isn't perfect. This is a much smaller example of some of the many different amphitheater examples that I've done in the past. But what you're going to want to try and do is you want to try and have some bigger platforms. So I've got a couple of little platforms, as you can see, that are 2 blocks deep. In there, you're going to want to fill in areas around the back to make it look a little bit more natural. But the idea is you want to have something that looks like people could sit around, and you can maybe accommodate a few hundred or 1,000 people sat looking at the amphitheater. Now I've just built the stage area, and I'm building the skene at the back over here. So the skene was like the backstage and the backdrop of the amphitheater, and this is not something that has persisted much into the modern day. But if you go to like Athens, for example, there are a couple of good examples of the theatre backdrop building that still exists nowadays. So this would have been a thing where you would have hosted the main stage of the amphitheater, but it would have also hosted the kind of costumes and the changing rooms and the things that would have happened behind the scenes, which were equally important to the functioning of the amphitheater. But as well, it just provided a nice backdrop. So what you typically would have had is you would have had something that looked kind of like this with colonnades. Maybe it would have had a pitch roof on top. So what I've done here is I've mixed a mixture of quartz pillars. I've got some sandstone, I've got some spruce wood, and I'm kind of trying to match the color scheme of what we've got locally in the agora, but also in terms of the types of materials that we have locally in this area. So we've got lots of diorite, we've got a bit of granite. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to reflect what the local environment is in the skene building itself. So as you can see, I'm just decorating a little bit with some carpets, maybe decorating with some statues. What I quite like to do is put armor stands with a custom head on top. Maybe we do some gardens. This is something I'm going to come back to in a later video, in actually making a market out the front of the amphitheater, like a food market for visitors. And then in here, I'm making a nice little backstage area where you could have some storage space. So I'm thinking you could have costumes, you could have books and different scripts for people who are going to be acting in your play. And then I've got a couple of little banners and extra bits that we're adding in over here. But as you can see, it's kind of like a, the amphitheater is not a particularly difficult thing to make. It's just trying to get the proportions right and trying to get the circles right, as you can see. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick tour of this amphitheatre in this short video today. So as you can see, we've got the agora over here, and we've started to build this amphitheatre area over the back. So the amphitheatre itself, I'd say, is pretty much 90% complete. What I'm going to do is in this area at the front, I'm going to want to try and build some sort of like food market, or have some sort of food shops or houses with food shops in the bottom, because you think people would have wanted to go and watch the play and have some food before or after the play that they've gone to see. So as you can see, we've got this lovely banked theatre over here that looks out into the middle, and you've got the stage here with the central area over here. As you go towards the back, we have the backstage area where many of the actors would have changed. You've got the storage areas, and you've got two doors. So you've got two doors to enter the stage on the left and right side. Up here, I don't really know what I'm doing up here. This is kind of like a placeholder. I've chucked a bunch of stuff up here. I don't really know, from what I've read and what I've researched, I don't really know quite exactly what was up here. I've tried to read a little bit. I mean, you guys in the comments can let me know what sort of would have happened in the upstairs of the skiing building. If it would have been something like VIP seating, or I don't know, let me know guys in the comments below. But as you go up here, you can see, I mean, typically you would have had like causeways that would have run up through the seating, but as you can see, I've not done that in this video because it's a much smaller theatre. If you did a bigger theatre, you would want to have the kind of different colour causeways that went through here, but you kind of get the idea. It has this nice banked theatre seating. And what I've done here is, as you can see, we've got a bit of a wider platform. Now the reason why I've left this is because you would have had breaks in the platform itself, and you've got one up here as well. You would have had breaks in the banking, so people would have been able to traverse between the seats themselves when they were going to find their seats in the play. So it might be a little detail that you want to include in your own amphitheatre builds. But there you have it guys for today's short video on the amphitheatre in our Greek Polis build. I really hope you guys have enjoyed the video. I hope you got inspired and got some ideas for your own amphitheatre builds. Let me know what you want to see next in this Polis build. I'm thinking we're going to do the residential districts, or start the residential districts in the next video, maybe in a couple of weeks' time. Or we could do the agricultural areas, because that might set the tone for the residential areas. But let me know, guys, in the comments what you think we should do next. So until the next time, thanks for watching, guys, and goodbye.